Welcome to Out Continues, episode 140, a weekly podcast posted up every Monday in which we talk about video games and related topics, and it's posted up whenever, a few days before Monday on youtube.com/outofcontinues. Pretty much goes up a couple hours after we finish recording. Uploads via Google Hangout. Out It Continues is a member of the Tech Podcast Network at techpodcast.com. I am your host, Stafa, if this is the first time listening or watching the show. And usually I have different guest hosts on the show each week. Over here, this fine young man, Cody.
What? I'm playing video games. Quit talking to me. No.
Stop playing video games. Get back to the show.
I'm here. How's it going?
We got Cody over
Internet
here.
land.
And new to the show, we have Samantha.
Hey guys.
She gets the rapid fire question.
Yeah,
I get all the questions.
You get rapid fire interview questions.
I studied for these.
Yeah, she's on the show because she accused me of being sexist.
But that's the only reason. Now you are
and
sexist.
racist. And what else did she accuse me of? She accused me
I
of
accused you of being
the
Starfire.
bubonic plague.
Of murder.
Yeah, she accused me of cannibalism.
That one was proven.
Cannibalism was proven. Come on now.
You-
It's Ramadan.
I'm pretty
not
sure
eating
that
anything.
that's where the game designers from Return to Fury went when you were done.
No.
Right into the stew.
Anyways. So, this week's episode segments will include the rapid fire interview questions to introduce Samantha to the show. After that, we're going to talk about what have we been playing. Next, we got quick announcements. Then our main topic will be games and education, which is educational, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna learn some things.
We got-
You're gonna learn some things.
We
Like
got
math.
Yeah, math.
History.
After that, we got some news, and we're going to wrap things up with listener feedback.
Do we got some this week?
Yeah, we got some this week.
Yes.
Yes, we're on a roll with listener feedback. We got listener feedback like the past 3 episodes.
Every time I've been on here, there's been listener feedback.
So that's man, we need you on the
Guys
show
are
more
awesome.
often then, because that's why people are writing in.
We'll just call it the Cody Show from now on.
I
You
don't
take a
think
break,
so.
stuff, and go on hiatus.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
We'll send you to some diversity training, and we'll go from there.
That is racist. Come
Maybe.
Come on now. So, anyways, let's get with the rapid fire interview questions. Samantha, Are
Ready
you-
for 'em.
you ready? Are you
I
sure?
might be ready for 'em.
Rapid fire.
Usually people's minds are blown away. So you got a helmet to put on? No.
No.
You gotta go in.
I don't know. Is this gonna work?
Maybe
Maybe.
it might work.
We'll
So
see.
anyways.
We'll freestyle it.
The rapid fire interview questions for listeners who forgot what it is or new to the show. They're basically 5 questions I give to people who are first time on the show, just to
How
briefly.
old? Why?
No,
No, we're not doing that.
Come on now, this is a family show. What, talk about killing people and everything.
You're not gonna let me into your group, are you? For those who don't know, I just got done watching all 4 seasons of The Walking Dead. So, yeah,
Oh, grim.
I've got walkers on the brain.
Okay. So anyways, rapid fire interview questions. Ready to roll?
Yeah.
First question: what's your all-time favorite console? And PC does not
no.
count as a console.
I don't do a lot of PC gaming. I
Okay.
gotta say either N64 if we're going old school, or I'm pretty fond of the PS3.
Okay, cool. Next question: name 3 of your favorite franchises,
Well, definitely.
or if it's not
Mario.
franchise in a single title.
Definitely Mario.
Okay.
Mario Kart, Mario Party, all of the Mario. Silent Hill.
Mhm.
I don't do a lot of scary games, but I love Silent Hill.
I like Loud Mountain more.
I'm not surprised it's got loud in the name. And old school Banjo and Kazooie are my favorite.
Okay.
I prefer the sequel, but
Next question: if you can have lunch with anyone in the game industry, who would it be?
Well, as long as language isn't a barrier, definitely David Cage from Quantic Dream. I
Mhm.
really enjoy their games and their studio methodology. So yeah,
I see.
connect with me on LinkedIn, David.
Next question. What's one problem with the video game industry today?
Definitely that there aren't enough women in it. Maybe. I feel like also there aren't enough characters that have just crazy amounts of moves. Like Banjo-Tooie, like you had like 20 different moves you could choose from, and they were all useful. So I don't think we see enough of that anymore. Games that really have a lot of
I can move.
variety like that. Octodad did good, you know?
I'm moving. Yeah, Octodad had the best
Has
moves.
all the moves.
I need you to do the captain's jig.
All of the moves.
All the moves. And final question. One reason why you game.
Because games bring people together. That's why we're here, right?
Do they?
I think so.
I think sometimes they bring people
They-
apart.
well, yeah, I guess, you know.
Especially
but
especially
first,
when they're with your mom. You know, all those people online.
I there's been some tension after some fierce Mario Kart.
Like,
battles.
apparently my mom was with like 12 people at once at the same time.
I'm not going to respond to that.
That's according to the people online playing games with me.
Okay.
So,
People are awful.
yeah, exactly. Playing games during a podcast.
Yes, I am.
So, anyways, those
Just in
are.
case, if you want to know, I am playing. Probably can't see that. Super Street Fighter Alpha 2. It's it might be one of the games I talk about when we discuss games we've been playing. I'm whispering so you can't hear it.
They might have trouble hearing whispering. Hey, how's it going?
All right. Is that
So,
all
anyways,
the rapid
yeah,
fire
that
already?
is the rapid. I
Mine
told
took like
Did I
25
pass?
minutes to answer all mine.
You said rapid fire, so
Yeah,
I
it's
didn't want
rapid
to like.
fire.
I didn't
It's
want to
rapid.
explain
Bam.
myself.
exactly.
I don't have to explain myself.
Well, you
to
did
you.
research beforehand.
I
I just
did.
kinda like,
I studied. I
what's
had them
going on?
written. I've got notes. You know,
The
'cause
first
otherwise
part-
I'd blank.
The first podcast I was on,
hmm
you saw me in the hall and you were like, "Hey Cody, want to do a podcast?" And I was like, "Okay."
My mom told me to say no to podcasts.
Yeah,
And peer
it was
pressure?
peer pressure, man.
So, anyways, that's the rapid
Not
fire
even
interview
once.
questions. You survived.
I did.
You blasted through them.
I'm intact. There are no holes in my
Your
brain
head's
that
not
weren't there
blown away.
before.
So let's roll. Let's go on with what
Let's do
have we
this.
been playing? And since Cody,
He's
you've
currently
been,
playing.
yeah, since you were sitting there, you know, the entire time, balling.
Well, thank you.
What have you been playing? Well, what do you want to talk about? The one game you've been playing that you want to talk about.
I've been playing a lot, but I guess
We can only talk about one.
I know.
Kinda break
I've
the
always
rules.
playing a lot, but I guess the game that I've been playing the most lately has been Super Street Fighter 4, the arcade edition.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian, who was on here,
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, with me, he has been.
You might want to face the mic while
Yeah.
you're talking.
Sorry, he has been more or less kind of training me or teaching me how to play fighter games and stuff. And then, you know, I came from the world of fighters where it was just.
Well, when he's training you, do you have like Eye of the Tiger playing?
Oh,
at the
dude.
same time?
It gets so intense sometimes when I'm practicing and stuff. But there is a lot when it goes into like fighters and stuff like that. It's not only about like learning their special moves and stuff like that, but it's all about like reading your opponent, and you know it gets really, really complex. Like I was reading through some stat sheets, which are huge, on a website called shoryuken.com or
Yeah,
.org or whatever.
that's like the biggest
Yeah,
fighting
it's-
game website.
Yeah, it's like one of the biggest.
The
And-
biggest.
Yeah, the biggest.
The.
But there is a lot to know about just every single move, and like you have to worry about how many frames something does and what.
See, I don't even go into the frames because it's like when you're counting frames, then that's when
Get into some Matrix level
yes, you're
business.
stepping in the territory where you are a crazy person and you need to chill out and relax.
You trying to say something here, Safa?
Well,
Yes, I am saying that people who take things to the extreme are crazy.
yeah.
That's
Well,
what
I
I'm
mean, I don't know. It's really neat. I mean, I don't go that far into it, but there's a lot of things that just over like the past 4 or 5 weeks that I've been really playing and trying out, like fighter games, especially Street Fighter, has been like learning a handful of the nuances into setting up combos, how to play certain characters. Like each character is more or less proficient in their own suitable way.
Mhm.
Like you'll have rush characters, which are all about just in your face, pounding out combos.
Like Cammy.
Well, yeah,
Exactly like Cammy.
yeah. Cammy's really good anti-air, and she's just got really powerful kicks. Guile, he's a charge character, which that just comes from the you have to hold a button in a certain direction
I hate those.
and release it. Yeah, he's a little wonky, but
Here's the main reason why I hate those type of characters. Because you have to charge to do your Sonic Boom and your other moves, but the AI pulls them off instantly.
yeah, it's yeah,
Like the AI does not need to hold down to do the flash kick.
Yeah.
The AI does not need to hold back to do the Sonic Boom.
Yeah.
They just instantly do the moves, and it's like this is some
Yeah.
shenanigans.
Well, and that's where the whole, learning the frames and learning like timing and spacing and like when you can do certain moves and stuff. There was a great move that Adrian kept doing onto me over and over and over again. We were just like a friendly, quick versus match,
Mhm.
and he did it to me every time. And
It's called Light Punch.
No, what it's called? It's a dead kick. It was a dead kick into something, either a combo or a throw.
Mhm.
What he would do is he would get me on the ground. He would knock me down, and then while I was trying to get up, he would jump or come in for a kick. And since my standing up animation was not done, he doesn't connect the kick. But it forces me as a player outside of the game to, oh my God, he's going in for attack. I'm gonna block. So I go in for the block. So he grabs me and throws me again. It's all about that little setup. He took
Yeah.
advantage of the fact that I had an invincibility while standing up, which is very quick.
Yeah.
Characters just kind of pop back up, but he timed it so that the kick doesn't land, but it forced me to be like and block.
Gets
so
inside your head.
so that I didn't try to do like a if we take Ryu for example, his Shoryuken uppercut.
Yeah.
Because if I would have done that, it would have went right through his game plan. But it's all about tricking also your opponent and using the bits and pieces of the mechanics and stuff. One thing he told me was that a lot of that stat sheet stuff you're not going to need. It's there for flavor and stuff. Most fighters, they fight through heart, through feeling. They'll understand a character's pros and cons. They'll know their basic combos and combo setups, and then they'll go from there.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been a really neat. It's almost like learning a real martial art. It's it's practice. It's getting down.
So that's why you were doing push-ups when you got here, because you got pumped up by the fighting games.
Yeah, well, and it helps me wake up. It's been a rough, long night, but
Here's a secret to Street Fighter. Just choose T-Hawk, and no one will beat you because no one knows anything about T-Hawk. That's it.
T-Hawk.
He's like a fast Zangief. So there you go.
Yeah, more or less. I don't know.
He's
Two characters
like,
I hate are Sagat and T-Hawk. Those guys suck. I hate them.
I I decided to
They're
choose
mean.
T-Hawk one day online, and I chose this pink uniform just to like troll people.
Because there's no other.
And then I was beating everybody with T-Hawk, and I was like, people don't know T-Hawk. That's it. Because no one picks T-Hawk because he looks like what's it called? I'm having a brain fart. The YMCA people.
Oh, the village people.
Village people. Yeah, he looks like a village person, especially with them wearing pink.
Yes.
And so no one ever picks him. No one knows his moves or anything. So I was like, you know what? Done. T-Hawk. Up in here.
Yeah. But there's a lot of like basic stuff too that I think I wouldn't go ahead and say I'm the strongest now because I'm not really. But a couple of things that I have learned have definitely put the edge over what I would consider like moderate to entry level players.
Mm-hmm.
That since fighting with Adrian, which if you guys ever want a challenge, you take on Adrian because he knows his stuff, and he manipulates the controller like it's part of him in a sense, and it's just getting down.
Does he play with a regular gamepad or does he have an arcade stick?
No, he plays with a PlayStation 3 controller.
Okay.
Yeah, the original like D-pad setup.
I have an arcade stick, but like it's for PS2 and Xbox, the original.
Oh yeah.
And so it doesn't work on current consoles. Not even last gen. Like I plugged in this PS2 to USB converter to try like see if is this gonna play on the PS3? No, it didn't work.
It might work on Steam. If you had like a fighter game on Steam,
mm-hmm.
maybe, but that's a big maybe.
I'm thinking of like getting rid of it though, because it's huge. Yeah. It's like I got the original box to it, and it's just in the way.
Yeah, that was one thing. That was one thing too that I noticed from a lot of people is that when you really seriously want to get into fighters and really want to try out and get into stuff, it's all about choosing your controller right off the bat. Because I didn't have any way of connecting my PlayStation 3 controllers to my computer.
Mm-hmm.
I looked online for some stuff and they never worked, so I was just using a regular Xbox 360 controller. Yeah. And the D-pads on those are awful for fighters.
Yeah.
They're not responsive. They're very floaty. An Xbox 360 controller is perfectly set up for a first-person or third-person shooter. Mm-hmm. It's set up wonderfully for it. The analog sticks being more of a natural place, so you don't get kind of like a weird rub feeling, and the trigger buttons feel like triggers.
Do they?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. Absolutely, 100% sure. I'm never wrong.
Never wrong.
Never wrong. But anyway, so getting acclimated to the right controller at the right time, and then that's why a lot of people will, I would say try out controllers if you ever want to get into fighters, but I would definitely try to stick with a more conventional D-pad setting. Mm. That was another thing too. Was before me and Adrian started really, really hanging out and really talking about fighters and stuff, I tried playing Street Fighter 4 because I had a download of it from a friend, and I tried with the conventional D-pad and the stick and stuff, and then I just didn't know what was going on. I didn't know, I couldn't pull off anything. I was just mashing buttons and stuff. But it's like I said, it's like learning a martial art, and it's
no, it's not.
Well, in a sense, because it's really, when it comes down to it, it's just like boxing, or it's just like any kind of like fighting. Because that's what it is. It's all about setting up your opponent for what they think you might do, and capitalizing on their mistakes and
I
on
always
their weaknesses.
I always find it funny when when the UFC games come out, and like especially the last one, not the newest one, but the previous one, the last THQ one. Like they're like, get UFC. What was it? What was it called? UFC 13 or UFC 12? I can't remember.
Yeah, one of those.
UFC 13 is just like being a real fighter. It's like, no, come on now. You guys are being sellouts. Because like, you see these people who train their entire life. They devote their lives to being like these top athletes. To be as good as they can be at this sport, and then they're like, you see them get in front of a camera, with their bowl of Wheaties in front of them and their Nike shirt and whatever. They're like, try out this UFC game. It is just like being a real fighter. No, come on now. No. Sit down. I understand you're trying to sell this product, but it's not like the real thing. Come on.
I really did want to try out some of the new ones because when the first UFC game for the PlayStation 3, which was, I think, back in 2009.
It was like UFC Undisputed, or...
Yeah, I think it was just UFC Undisputed. And, I had a lot of fun with it, with friends playing, fighting back and forth. And, I've been a big UFC fan, for a very long time. So, I even played some of the older like PlayStation 2 ones, and the one thing that was really was always kind of a hurdle with that game was just like really wonky controls and not having a good sense, because they had a relatively nice idea, but the controls were definitely not as responsive as you wanted, and it didn't have D-pad support.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did start to notice that after actually recently playing Street Fighter and stuff, that a lot of the inputs were just like kind of like Street Fighter inputs. You had your quarter forward move, quarter forward button or quarter back button.
Mm-hmm.
You never had any like dragon punches or anything. Yeah, but basically down to forward. And then that was how you switched up your position, like if you're on the ground, if you're just in regular guard, to either go right or left, it would be like a quarter forward right, and then he would position himself
Kamehameha
to the right, and then another quarter forward. But it was just wonky and stuff, and you had to use the what do you call it? The analog stick.
I like how Cody isn't fazed by any of the crap I'm spewing.
No.
like it's just going past.
It just goes straight past.
It's aerodynamic today.
Oh yeah.
All right, so you've been playing fighting games.
Yes, I have been playing fighting games.
All right, so let's move on because we got more to the show. Samantha.
Yeah,
What
so
you been
I'm
playing?
gonna break rule one. I've got two things, just because this has been a busy week.
Take it easy.
Well, I guess I'm running the show now. So I finished. AMC ran a Dead, White, and Blue weekend, so I watched all of The Walking Dead.
Uh-huh.
And then I went and I picked up the game, and I'd known about the game for a while, and I thought it was cool. I just hadn't spent money.
The Tall Tale one or
Telltale one, yeah,
Telltale,
season
yes.
1. And I finished that this week.
Come on now, Cody. Who plays the other one?
I was kind of excited for it, but they kind of just.
Dude,
It was like
it-
Oregon Trail meets really, really
It was-
bad mechanics.
It was announced on a
Who died of
Tuesday.
dysentery.
It was
And then it
announced
came out
on, and
a
it came,
Wednesday.
it came out on a Wednesday.
It reminds me of that guy from the old, I think it's the old Popeye commercials. Can you spare me $1 for a hamburger today, and I'll gladly repay you on Thursday? It's like, no. It was a neat concept. I did kind of like it, but they just didn't pull it off really well.
So yeah, I finished season 1 of The Walking Dead.
That ending.
This
Did you just want to kill yourself? Did you
I
put your
will
face to a
say-
pillow and go?
I will say,
Clementine!
I'm in like episode 5. I'm like right outside the hotel. I've got this shard of glass, and like a butcher knife, and I'm just going through this giant horde of walkers, and I get to like the last one before the doors, and I just like totally screw up the quick time. There's epic music in the background, and I'm feeling pretty good, and then all of a sudden I'm just dead. Like, well, let's do that one more time. That wasn't enough the first time. I messed that up on purpose.
Yeah, I really hate it when like there's something really epic happening. Like especially it happened a lot in Uncharted 3 for me. Like something epic's happening, and then like I just barely missed the jump, and then I gotta do that entire like really epic moment all over again. It's like okay,
And
It's like having to skip a DVD
This
or
part
a
of the
VHS
game-
for you youngins.
Yeah. VHS, good stuff. This part of the game is supposed to be like really easy because like you've got nothing left to lose. You've been bitten. Spoilers. It's
spoilers.
if you haven't played it yet, you deserve to get spoiled.
I still got people who haven't played it yet.
Well, don't listen to this then. Just kind of plug your ears. But this part of the game is supposed to be really, really easy. You've got nothing left to lose, and you're just like left and right. You don't even have to move the reticle around because it's just hit the button, and I screwed it up. So I take a breath, I run through it again, and I'm just get through that hotel. I'm like, I'm gonna save you, Clementine, no matter what happens. And then that ending, man.
I mean, like I've said on the show before, the ending of that game is the first and only incident in which I was playing a game and I got teared up at the end. Like,
Man, that just
It
means
was-
you're too hard inside. You need to let games affect you more.
it did. It's called Walking Dead.
I think I was-
Last of Us, man. I balled through The Last of Us, but Walking Dead, I was okay.
Okay, so I'm not spoiling too much here because
Too
I
late.
imagine a lot of people who at least know of this game know that the second game is out and that they know that
I
the
think a new episode came out this week.
yeah I need to because I played the
Yeah.
first two of
Well,
those
the
episodes and
tra-
those are actually starting to come out.
The
cool.
trailer for the new episode just came out, so
Yeah.
I think it's coming out next week.
Yeah, it's
Probably.
sometime
I saw
really soon.
something for it.
But I'm going to be the party pooper here and say that ending was very predictable and not as good as it could have been. You know what I really wanted? For them to kill
Cody.
Clementine.
Cody,
What?
They actually.
there's a door.
I'm sorry. It just like it's the same thing with you in Final Fantasy VII. It's me with here. It's you. I mean, because from episode 1 until that 10 minutes back to the ending was golden. Was amazing. And then, like you said, they build it up. They build it up. They build it up. What happens? Storybook, same ending, like it always happens.
Yeah,
you
there's
know,
no way to stop it.
You know, because without trying to give out too much here, it ends very, very predictably. You know, at
Well,
least
I
to me.
think
Maybe
part of
I'm cynical and I look into
Here's
you know,
the thing, though.
story
Here's
too
the
much
thing.
or
Like,
something.
you had 5 episodes
Of
in
choices.
which you are like building up this relationship of you/Lee and Clementine,
Yeah.
and so it's this long journey of building all this up.
Yeah.
And one of the really interesting things I was reading, kind of the development of this game, is they started with that ending in mind before anything else, and so the whole game really was to build up to that moment, and so they didn't want to
So like,
finagle with it too much.
unlike Final Fantasy VII, in which like you have a character who is running off on you
yeah.
and like is not there half the time that she is alive. It's like, why am I sad for this character who just died, who is like half the time not even with me? It's
I
like,
don't know, this is more of a love
Yeah,
interest thing. But I'm just saying, I wasn't trying to compare the two games by any means necessarily. I was just saying, you got a beef with that game, I kind of got a beef with this game. And it's just because we've seen that ending before. What was the really great thing about The Last of Us ending? It leaves you on a big, holy beep moment. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just like, whoa. Like, how can you complicate things more, and then it kind of leaves you.
Mhm.
Granted, the father daughter role that was expressed in there, and Lee's not even Clementine's real father,
No.
was by far one of the best examples of something like that in a video game ever. Ever. The parent relationship expressed in there. I'm not taking away from this
Your
game. I'm just
mom's the
taking
best
away from
example
that
of a
last 10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
That extremely, extremely predictable ending. Because at episode 3, I knew what was going to happen. When you start seeing everyone pick off,
Mhm.
one of these two characters
It's gonna be a lot.
is going to be alive, and one of them is going to die. It happens every year in The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
in the actual television series, which is very boring and predictable now. First 2 seasons, you're like, whoa, this is something new and stuff, and it's like, wait, you did that in 2nd season. Wait, you did that in the 3rd season. Wait, this is really boring and not worth my time
Now
anymore.
Herschel's gone. And everyone's in a train car.
Herschel's gone?
You didn't hear
Yes.
that from me.
But I don't know, and I have a really big beef with zombie culture nowadays anyway, because it used to be
Everywhere.
something very, but yeah, it's saturated in everything, and then there's just so much story that you can pull out of that before you start saying, we're just retelling the same story, guys, for profit, for money. Now, granted, like I said, this game series and with the second one coming up, they do a phenomenal job with it. But, my big beef with it is that if you're really going to push the edge and, this is the greatest thing in zombie culture ever to happen or something like that, you really need to start, exploring different options and different ideas. Because, the formula for any of the Walking Dead television series now is 20 minutes of drama, 5 minutes of shooting a couple zombies. 25 more minutes of drama, 2 minutes of shooting zombies.
Now there's a lot of stabbing zombies.
Yeah, stabbing
They're
zombies.
getting better.
Which, you know what? That's another beef I have. Skulls are not
They're
Jello.
not tissue paper.
Yeah, just look at and that's 3 zombies with like a buck knife going through a skull.
That's like the least.
Daryl Powers.
I think that's like the least I'm worried about in the Walking Dead show as far as like unbelievable things. You can't shoot the roof of a train tunnel and have it collapse. Come on now.
What if it's like a really, really,
Do you-
really badly designed train?
Okay,
tunnel?
Really,
okay.
Really.
Do you know how heavy a train is? Trains shake the ground when they're moving. So if a train is, if
Trains don't kill people.
if
Stop.
no, what I'm
Kill
saying,
people.
what I'm saying is, if you shoot the roof of a tunnel and it like collapses, then there's no way that roof was going to even stay still if a train would drive. Just go through that tunnel to begin with.
Maybe
But it's
that
all
tunnel was
post-apocalyptic world.
There are much more like unbelievable things happening in that show.
Oh yeah, granted, there's and then I just have a lot of beef with like how they're setting up characters and what they're setting. It's like Michonne's the coolest thing ever happened. It's like, did I just see her take a katana and try to just to hack it like there was that one where they were going into like a old gas station or something like that.
Mhm.
She pulls out this katana, which is supposed to be, now if you know anything about Japanese samurai culture and
I
stuff,
know
like,
everything.
Ask
Ask
culture
me
like
any
that and
question
stuff.
about Japanese samurai culture. I'll give you the answer.
But there's a couple things wrong
I
with her.
played
One,
Onimusha.
having her sword on her back like that, she's got the wrong length sword to do that. There's no way in hell that she has a long enough arm to pull out a full blade katana from her back. Ninjas would carry their swords on their back because their blades were this long. That was the point of it. To have a short
for
blade on
the
back.
listeners who aren't watching, that's like 2 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ninja's blades were not long, and it was for a purpose that they were not long. Her katana is huge. Another thing about the steel that makes up a katana, it's very brittle. It's not brittle in the sense that you click on it and it's gonna fall apart. No, it's actually durable, but the ends of it's razor sharp. so it chips and curds and stuff. So why is she using it like some like jungle safari machete? You know, you have to spend 3.5 hours sharpening that
Because
thing.
it looks good for TV. That's
You know,
why.
and then she can slash.
Hey,
and hack
Cody, we got like
Okay, I'm going off on a
lot
rant.
more
But
show.
The Walking Dead is. Stop giving it the credit it deserves.
Watch House of Cards instead.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
So,
So
what I'm
video
working on right now, I'm playing through Beyond Two Souls, and I'm almost done, and it's great. It's not as good as Heavy Rain, but I'm happy.
I like the acting a lot more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Beyond Two Souls.
Part of why I like Heavy Rain though is because there are some ridiculously cheesy moments, and like Norman Jaden is like the best character ever just because he's
Norman Jaden.
Norman Jaden.
Norman Jaden. and then you have like the kids. I have an American accent. Okay, alright. Good for you.
Well, I just got through the interrogation scene when you're in the submarine and you're trying to find the other rift.
Okay, so you're pretty close to the
I'm
end.
pretty close to the end. And the accents get weirdly French at times. Like, you guys are not French. So that's where I'm at. What are you playing, Staffa?
I've been playing quite a few games, but the game I'll talk about today is Rise of the Triad, which is it's a remake.
Right.
It is a remake of Rise of the Triad. So
back to my bloody youth.
So Rise of the Triad, for people who aren't familiar with it, the original, it was a game that came out in the 90s by Apogee. In fact, we were talking about Apogee games last week on the podcast. It was like it had a lot of things. I don't remember if it had like actual developers from id or if like they like just took a lot of ideas from the original Doom that didn't make it to Doom. Like all 5 of the characters are named after characters that were supposed to originally be in Doom. Like it was supposed to have 5 characters at first.
Yeah.
So this game, it's the original was a first-person shooter, a 2D first-person shooter like Doom and Wolfenstein, and there's 5 different characters, each having different attributes to them, like strength or more strength or more speed or whatever, and you're going against non-Nazi Nazis. The triad, like
Say that 3 times fast.
non-Nazi
Nazis.
non-Nazi Nazi.
Norman
Jaden. So I mean, like their symbol is pretty much like a swastika, but like with
Like one of those red circles with a line through it.
No, it's a little. It has red and white, and like in the middle, it looks like a Triforce, so it's the Triad.
Cute.
So, but I mean, they might as well be Nazis with American accents. So,
Ameri-Nazis?
yes. So basically, this remake came out last year, I believe, and I was kind of excited for it because, like, yeah, this game's coming out, remake of old school shooting, old school fun, and at the $15 price point. But then it came out, didn't get very good reviews. It was on sale last week or this week. Yeah, it was early this week that I got it. For like $2 because it was their anniversary, and they're like,
man, I should have picked that up.
it might still be on sale. I don't know. You might want to check that. But $2, picked it up. The game is both amazing and terrible at the same time.
As all good things are.
So like it is amazing because like it has the old school run and gun action. It's hard, like old school games. You're picking up health. But it's so glitchy and stupid.
Yeah.
like the enemies. Like for some reason the enemies, I don't remember if they did this in the original game or what, but for some reason some of them, when you shoot them a few times, they like get on their knees and oh no, don't shoot me, don't shoot. And,
I think that he had an animation after you shot him a couple times. They just like got on the ground and were kind of bleeding out a little bit. But yeah,
so, but like
I played the original one, man. I lived for those type of games.
But like the game's so broken. Sometimes they will keep shooting while they're in this animation, and the bullets you can see it coming literally out of their head.
Yes.
Like, don't shoot me! And then they're
Game
still
of the year.
shooting.
Game
And-
of the year. Already
and-
calling it.
That's beautiful.
At one point, I killed a guy when he's like, "Don't shoot me!" And then, like, instead of falling over dead, there was no frame of animation. He immediately just popped back up, shooting at me with full health.
Yes.
Guys.
Triad power.
Whenever there's lightning, I'm pretty sure this is the game because my computer is a beast. It runs games amazingly. Whenever there's lightning, the whole sky is flickering white rather than you just see the lightning bolt. Like it looks so janky and broken. It is.
Have you played the original Rise of Triad?
Yeah, I played it.
It was janky and broken. But it was great, man.
But I don't feel like the jankiness is intentionally supposed to be there. It is. I mean, there's some they're poking fun of old school games as well. Like it has the levitating platforms that just go up and down, and like after you beat the first level. When you're going to the second level, the mission briefing is like, oh, those floating platform things, they're called, they go into detail and say what they're called, I can't remember, but then they're like, they used to use them in the 90s in place of stairs for some reason, I don't know why.
Because stairs are hard to craft, man.
And, I died at a certain point, and they'll say something goofy after you die. At one time, they're like, maybe next time you should play with God mode on.
Nice.
So, I mean, the game is, like, it's awesome, but it's just, like I mentioned, the game's just so broken at the same time. And it's really cool playing a game that's designed old school. You got secrets that you have to rocket jump into. You got all these crazy... like spinning blade things that you have to avoid, and crazy platforming that is just broken because it's a first-person game, So it has all those elements. It's awesome, but like it's just a really glitchy and broken game, and I see why it got really low review scores because it's so glitchy. The intro cutscene. I feel like it cut off before it finished, and then it started the beginning of the game. I didn't press anything. I was just watching the cutscene, and then it just cut off, and the game started. I'm like, was that it?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they actually did a lot of those recently. Like that whole genre back then, those 90s first-person shooter kind of games, all made with subtractive game design. Mm-hmm. You got Wolfenstein, Doom, Blood, Hexen, Rise of the Triad, Shadow Warrior. There's a whole bunch. And Shadow Warrior actually did a
Chex Quest.
Supernova's R3D.
I hear Shadow Warrior is pretty good. People like it.
Actually, yeah, it's actually pretty fun. I actually got it. It was me. I was like, should I get Rise of the Triads or Shadow Warriors? I was like, you know what? I loved Shadow Warriors back in the day, so I'm gonna get Shadow Warriors.
Well, Shadow Warrior got really good reviews. Rise of the Triad.
Yeah. Actually, Shadow of the Warriors is really it's done really well.
For $2, Rise of the Triad's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's how much I spent. It was $5. They had Shadow Warrior. I think the price point like 20, and then they dropped it down.
Have you played Hard Reset?
No, I have not.
That is made by Flying Warthog, the studio that did Shadow Warrior, the remake. It's their first game that they made in that studio. It's pretty good. It's really hard, but it's awesome.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Hard Reset.
Yes, Hard Reset. The graphics are really good too.
Awesome.
I mean, it's made by their former employees of what's it called? CD Projekt Red,
Oh, okay.
and a few people from People Can Fly. So you got the people who made The Witcher and people who made what's it called? I can't think of the game. Painkiller.
Yeah.
Yes.
I loved Painkiller. Oh, a weapon that shoots shurikens and lightning.
I never got that far in the game.
Shurikens and lightning.
Never got that far.
Shurikens and lightning.
lightning.
Yeah. But you know, like,
And if you did like the art, like the special one, shot them both at the same time.
yes. Yeah, like Rise of Triad, janky but awesome. I think I'm also playing Wolfenstein at the same time. I'll talk about that more.
The
in
newest one?
Yeah, the new one.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'll talk about that more in a future podcast once I want to talk about after I beat the game though.
Okay.
But
Real quick, like general first impression is.
I think Wolfenstein New Order does a better job at bringing classic gameplay and modernizing it at the same time than Rise of Triad. Rise of Triad just brings classic and also brings a bunch of janky glitchiness.
Here's a bunch of stuff.
Bring
Take it.
this baggage along.
Wolfenstein is like, okay, remember everything that you loved about Wolfenstein? Here it is, and we'll make it slightly modernized as well, and have fun.
Sweet. Yeah, I really want to play that one. I'm looking really forward to it.
It's pretty cool. But let's move on.
Awesome.
Look, before we go into our main topic, I want to talk about DreamHost real quick.
Tell us about DreamHost.
Go ahead. What is
Okay.
It's my
DreamHost?
first time here.
DreamHost, they are a web service. They offer unlimited storage, unlimited bandwidth. They have a user-friendly interface, and they are optimized to use content managers such as WordPress, Content 5, and many more features. All that just for $8.95 US
You're
a month.
lying to me.
You got to be kidding me.
For
That's
real.
that is
$8.95 a month.
the best deal
Don't
on
lie.
the universe.
But it gets better.
What?
Really?
If you
can't
use
get better than
if
that.
you use the promo code out of continues, that's one
Is
word.
it all one word?
All one word. No
Okay.
spaces.
I don't have any spaces
Yeah.
to give.
Good. that works out. Just out of continues, one word with no spaces. It will waive the setup fee,
Hi, Mom.
and it will get you a free domain registration. But Sam,
Wow.
I don't think I can continue this podcast. I need a moment.
you need some DreamHost
Just like-
in your life, huh?
I just need a minute. That single tear roll down your eye. What are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What
What are you doing? If you're not
If you're
on
listening to
DreamHost
this
right now,
and you're watching this,
Well, you're
you're
watching
failing.
this.
yeah,
it's
what are you doing?
too good.
DreamHost.
DreamHost.
So let's move on. Let's talk about the main topic, which is games and education.
And education and
Bum
games.
bum bum.
Bam! Educational games. You know what? I like the fact that you can use games and teach something.
And people don't even know they're
People
learning.
don't even, you know what? Like Portal.
Portal, man.
Portal. You can learn physics. You can learn logic and problem solving.
Spatial reasoning.
It's like coming out of
Teamwork?
a video. Yes.
If you're doing cooperative.
Oh yeah. Why are you not doing cooperative?
It's like you come out of a game session and it's like 10 minutes later. Ah, drats! I learned something.
You know, we've come a long way since the days of like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Keyboarding with Timon and Pumbaa.
You know, like
I grew up with that.
Oh, son. I was horrible at it. And then Math Blasters. You remember Math
Yeah.
Blasters? High score.
Jumpstart.
I was the only one who played it.
I went through like all 8 grades of Jumpstart.
you know, like Math Blaster and Carmen Sandiego. Those aren't real games. Those are quizzes with graphics.
Some of them.
You just
Yes.
ruined my childhood.
The-
In
the-
one-
That was
one
my
sentence.
entire childhood, Staffa.
But I mean, I'm being
Why
real,
I make games.
I'm being real here, right? It's
Yeah.
basically a quiz, but with
Some of
graphics.
Yeah.
And
Some of
it's-
them,
yeah.
some are more mini games that also teach.
Yeah.
But like nowadays, we got Portal. We got like, I mean I know I just used that example again, but I mean, we got games
People are
that
using Minecraft in class to learn,
Mhm.
like how do you run a society, or like logic-based learning using Redstone,
SimCity.
but not The Sims. You learn totally
Yeah.
different things from that.
But like,
Like how to waste 4 or 5
Hours
hours of your life
Well-
doing nothing, being part of life.
Woo!
I'm wasting my life on life.
I remember when I was in junior high, our schools had SimCity 3000 installed on the PCs, and you know,
Nice.
we had to like sometimes the teachers would give us like objectives like get your city this size, or do these certain things, and then basically
Did you cheat like I always would? It's like, why is my city in ruins? Money code. There we go.
basically we had to like raise our hand and have the teacher come and see the screen, and then be like, okay, that's how we got checked off. And if the teacher saw that we had like $1 bazillion, then of course they'd know that we used the money code.
When I was in 3rd grade, I was in a gifted program, and basically what that was like for an hour, like once a week, they'd take us out of class.
Is it smart person gifted, or was it like gifted like me where you got to ride the short bus?
Short buses for everyone,
Short
but
bus.
it was
Hey,
for like
awesome.
smart
There's a
people.
difference between gifted and special.
I'm still not getting it, guys. But continue. I'll figure it out
Like
someday.
once a week, they'd take us out for like an hour. I was in 3rd grade, and all they would do is we would play like Sims Lemonade Stand, and I would learn to run a business.
Nice.
It was-
I like to play Sim Ants and control a colony of ants and watch them crush other bigger bugs.
I
and take
actually
their
hear
food
a
back
lot
to
of-
my queen.
I hear a lot of good things about Sim Ant.
Sim Ant was great. I love Sim
I
Ant.
never played Sim Ant.
Yeah. I don't know, like educational value, not really. I guess it was. I don't know. It was really neat. Like you had
Resource
to.
management.
Yeah, sort of, kind of. And mostly it was all about just like making sure you stocked up on enough food and the
Ant
type
stuff.
of ants that you purchased for the particular types of. Because I don't think it had seasons.
Mhm.
It only had like dry and wet season, which when it,
Grasshopper season.
when like big bugs and
Bugs
going out and
life. You gotta
foraging
go out
and
and
stuff.
like find some circus bugs to protect you.
Yeah, sort you know.
You know what game makes me feel smart when I play it? Civ 5.
Whoa.
I feel
Whoa.
sophisticated when I'm playing Civ 5.
That is the pinkies out of video games.
It's like, this is a thinking man's game. Well, I say, there it goes my city. I christen you Stuffalopolis.
For those who are listening, there was just a great facepalm moment from Cody.
But I think the big issue here with like games and learning and stuff like that is not necessarily presenting a game that teaches, but presents a game in which the player wants to learn. Wants to learn more about that and stuff. And I was playing one of my biggest examples is I was playing Total War II Shogun, which is part of the Total War series. It got the
Oh, is it?
yeah. Well, they got different series. Like most people know the Total War Rome, but I played the Total War Shogun, which when I was playing, I played like the
I like
normal
Total War
difficulty
Gun Show.
to the gun show, man. But I was getting toppled quite a few, very, very quick in the game. I was like, man, why am I not doing this? And then I got so like upset with it, like almost kind of like rage quit that I was like, you know what? Fine, I'm going to use history to my. So I looked up some actual battles within because you play on a map that is essentially ancient Japan, and they went as far as to like connect ancient trade routes in the correct positions they were and stuff like that. And there's a handful of battles during I can't remember the actual period of time. This has been a while since I've played it, but I found a choke point within these couple of rounds that I was able to hold off from
It's
both
called
sides.
Thermopylae.
Yeah, sort of. Actually, I used it the same way because I used only a small amount of people on a big garrison kind of area that bordered two places for like one of the best trade ports in the entire game.
Mhm.
Which to level that up, it takes a lot of time and a lot of money. But if you do get that leveled up, boom, there you go. My problem was that every time I started, I would go straight for that, try to level it up. It always got taken over every time. Never had an army enough to do that, but I stopped them here, which was actually in correlation to what happened during an ancient battle during those times. And I was like, wow, I actually used actual history to help me out in a game, and that can help. There's a lot of games that could probably do that. Like I know that a lot of online like free-to-play strategy-esque games has you building towns and going out and destroying or fighting other players' towns, and if you were to use ancient like city structs, you would prevail over that. So it's all about getting the player to engage with the game on an outside level. You're not saying, hey, look, now we're going to learn History 101. It's not like that. It's Math Blasters. It's the quiz thing beforehand, because you can't do that. But if you set up a situation within a certain time, anything, I don't even have to use games that are based off of, like, actual history.
Well, I think, like, from a game design standpoint, when making an educational game, I think the first thing that needs to be done is to make the game fun, first and foremost, because like if the game is fun and it engages the person, they might not even know they're learning something, but they're having fun, and then by the end of the day, they like subliminally learn something. Like it's not like they're sitting there like, oh, this is very educational, but like they're learning, and all they know right now is that they're having a fun time right now. That's it.
And I think too, it's a little too black and white with how learning is and stuff. It all comes down to subjects and stuff. Well, this game's not important because it's not teaching American history. This game's not important because they're not teaching basic algebra. And it's not always that you're going to learn from it. The best skills that you can learn are like quick
tying your shoes.
Tying your shoes and like writing your name. But
Dad taught me how to put clothes on.
Do the captain's jig.
But it's all about like critical and like situational problem solving. Those things that only come through certain kind of situations, keeping you cool. Higher strategy-esque games like the Civilization games, the Shoguns, the Total Wars, the mountains of strategy games, like board game, even like games that incorporate like board games into a digital realm and stuff like that. Those are all in and of itself teaching us things that we can apply into other situations. This whole outside world thing that people call. But I think right now when we talk about trying to teach through games, we're trying to set it way too black and white and not accepting the experience that we're getting. Because you know what? There's still a lot you can learn from games like Call of Duty. In games
Assassin's Creed is a really good example of games where sometimes the information is not accurate because they have all of their like subplots that they want to like.
The Pope is evil.
But there's a lot of people who are I didn't know about this person that was important in this war, but then you might learn about them from a game like that. So I think sometimes it's okay to have a game that kind of almost starts to push the knowledge, but it's just there at a very like near to the surface level.
Mm-hmm.
One of the game series that I really enjoy that's extremely educational is the Nancy Drew series from Her Interactive. They just released their 30th game in this series. It's been around since like before I was born, and I grew up with it. And I've learned things from the history of Nikola Tesla and his views on electricity. I've learned about like the Mayan culture, the Wild West.
Tesla is awesome because
awesome.
he wanted to kill people. He was
had death rays, man.
exactly. I mean, he was like, okay, I'm gonna invent stuff. Why not make a death ray? the Tesla cannon.
He went for the whole evil scientist thing, and he was thwarted for being, it was one of those, no, I'm supposed to be evil. It's like, look, you gave us something awesome. Everyone, come here and praise Tesla. He's like, no, you should hate me.
Who cares about Thomas Edison, man? Tesla's where it's at.
Thomas Edison just knew more people at the patent office. That was it.
Yeah.
He was not a real, inventor.
Yeah, man.
He ripped a lot of people's ideas off, and just
Yeah.
because he knew more people and he had more connections in the patent office, that's how he was able to patent his stuff and how he got a lot more credit. Yeah, so
Tesla.
politics is a really good thing to learn about because they're awful.
They're everywhere.
I mean, speaking of politics, I mean, there are games like what's it called, Democracy. I think the latest.
Democracy is a game, Staffa.
No, I mean there's a game on Steam. It's Democracy.
Maybe it's
the
Game
latest
of Thrones.
the latest one's Democracy 3, I believe. And you can basically, I mean, like, you don't view your city or anything like that, but like you basically get all these stats and stuff like that, and people vote you in. And I mean, I haven't played the game, but like from seeing it, I'm really interested in trying it out. Just because of how interesting it looks.
Yeah, I think another good one too is, this is why I've always had like a really good relationship with Nintendo-based consoles and Nintendo games and stuff. Was the level of connection. There's a lot to learn through yourself and how you express yourself and how you connect with others through simple things like
Wave Race 64.
yeah, Wave Race 64 or
Yeah.
Pilot Wings, but no, like Super Smash Brothers and stuff like that. Super Smash Brothers, Mario Party.
Yeah, you lose friends that way.
Yeah, when you lose really close friends, you gain acquaintances.
They come back
it's kind
eventually.
of switch and trade. A good friend of mine too, like here's a funny story was we were playing Mario Party and I had stolen a star from him, so he goes up there and rage quits and hits the reset button. So we start the game back over and it ends right on that turn, so he has to rewatch me stealing his star, and he punched me like in the chest as hard as possible. It was funny. So yeah, it does lose some sort of friends, but
But you
the
learn
connection
so much about yourself.
and the communication between people and stuff is wonderful.
I really like Portal, and games like it, and I feel like Portal has created a new genre of games. I mean, a lot of people say like it's a first-person puzzle game, and when I think puzzle game,
That's
No.
a discussion for another
uh,
time.
when I think of a puzzle game, I think of like Tetris, like straight up,
Memory games.
like Bejeweled, like moving stuff around to like make them fit and whatever. That's what I think of when I think of a puzzle game. I feel like Portal is more like a problem-solving game. Like you have an objective and you have to figure out how to get to that objective, and all these other games that's kind of spawned off of it. Like you got Cube, Quantum Conundrum, and then you got like 2D games like Trine, Rochard. In a way, I guess Little Big Planet, especially with 3 coming out and like you're doing all the teamwork stuff to figure things out. I feel like it's more of a problem-solving. Like the whole genre of games that those fit into is like a problem-solving rather than puzzle. Because like I said, when I think puzzle, I think of like Tetris. That's like the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah.
But I really think it's cool that all these games that are coming out, that are similar to Portal in that sense, it makes you feel very clever when you figure out, the really tough problems.
We learned that Wheatley was behind it all.
Like,
The cake is
I mean, like, especially in Portal 2, there are so many really tough rooms or chambers. You know, there's just some really tough ones, and at some point, I was like, maybe I'll take a peek at FAQ. No, I will not. I will not. I'm gonna do it myself, and then when I do it myself, like, I feel like the smartest person ever.
Oh yeah.
You know, it just feels so satisfying. It makes you feel clever.
Yeah. You know, and the really good part about that too is that you know, if we take, let's say, the first Portal, for example, that one, you know, outside of the world of co-op or anything like that, really, to tell you the truth, that's just, I mean, how long does it take usually? I mean, there's speed runs of the game that only take about 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, for a typical player, first time picking it up, it took me about
2 hours.
2 hours to get through it.
Yeah.
And why it was such a memorable experience was that it was basically a 2-hour tutorial. That's all it was. It was actually teaching us as play was going by. You know, each one of the chambers was a new lesson. It's just the way that they were able to present it was in a very nuancy, quirky kind of thing. Because, I mean, if you look at it, the game is all about a test. That's all it is. You're a test subject running through these things. So it is a relative tutorial. So what they're doing is that they're combining, like, all these different aspects around this, like, central narrative that that is focused on teaching you without teaching you.
Teaching you that you're a horrible person.
You know, yeah.
You know, like, my game I made for my capstone, Beware the Bully, I took a lot of ideas from that, in which you present a gameplay mechanic, and then you test the player or challenge the player with that gameplay mechanic. And I pretty much did that throughout the entire game. Like, gameplay mechanic, challenge. Gameplay mechanic, challenge. And I pretty much did that the entire way through. You know, okay, you got jump, challenge you on jump. You have springs, challenge you on springs. And, you know,
got like a good solid 15 minutes on that first, like, long jump challenge. Like, just barely missed it every time.
Yeah, a lot of people had problems with that. In the final version of the game, I made it smaller.
Those spinning platform things
Yeah,
you
from
had
level 2.
in your game, Staffa, like, that was the closest I had ever come to considering you being my mortal enemy, because I was just so frustrated with it. I was like, ah!
He didn't
You
even
know,
have to fill out an application.
It was
He
like the
on
game was
short
bullying
list.
me, and then that was
Look. In my defense, the platforms being spinning, that was Matt's idea.
I knew it. It had Matt all over it. I was like, you know what?
That was
Did
Matt's
Matt
idea.
make this game or not? And it was like, I can just see it now. Hey, Stoffer, you know what you should do? Let's
That-
make those platforms spin.
Yep. Yeah, that is
Like he's
exact.
here in the
That is
room with
exact.
us.
That was his.
I don't do that great of a impression, but I'm working on it.
Hey guys, let's kill some trees. So anyway,
He's a murderer.
you guys got anything else to say on educational games before we move on to news?
We should have more of them.
I think the one thing I really want to say about this is that truly any game can be educational. And every game is, in a sense, educational. If it teaches you something, if it's running you through a tutorial, then you are using your already given knowledge to learn something else. You know, reading, comprehending, puzzle solving, just basic logic and stuff. That's why, you know, playing more and more kind of games and focusing on those things things run and they still present in your head, so you're always learning something. And I mean, it's the same thing with a book.
Yeah,
You know, it's the same thing with
making a game is educational.
Yeah.
I mean, like Scratch. You know,
Oh, yeah.
just if you mess around with Scratch and you like have no prior like programming experience or any of that, that will teach you, you know, the basics of programming and logic.
I made a kitty cat move, jump, and meow. It was the best feeling.
It was the cat's meow.
I made a moving kitty cat. I was so proud of myself. I love Scratch.
Was it the default Scratch kitty cat?
Of course it was. You know it was.
I think my last thing before we move on was that I think we shouldn't discount the value of purely educational games as well.
I love discounts though.
I mean, yeah, Steam sale, but we shouldn't ignore them. My background, personally, since this is my first time on the show, I got into making games because I grew up with educational games, and I was learning at a time when the recession hit really bad, and so they had to cancel things like the gifted program, and really it turned a lot of the classrooms into needing to cater to some of the students who needed more help rather than the students who were doing good and wanted more to learn. And so I turned to educational games to learn things that my classroom couldn't provide. And so I think that there is a real value to having purely educational games, as well as games that teach you when you don't think you're learning.
Yeah, even having a lot of stuff on just fresh technology. Like when I was, years and years back,
You were just
start putting on the
Odie.
sepia filter and the bad audio already.
You should be listening to this in sepia tone.
Yes, because we would go into our small little computer lab, which was like just this little room with like 20 of the old IBM, use the floppy
You kill
disk.
someone with the monitor very easily.
Those old school ones, and we would just do math problems like today was subtraction, today is addition, today is division and stuff, and it was just formulated on a digital screen, and then like on the side was a counter of how many you got right, and man was it engaging. Because, we were timed, it's like, okay, we're just doing 25 minutes. It was like a warm-up thing. We'd all go down to the computer lab, do like 15 minutes of problems, go back up, learn a new lesson in math. And just having that outside engagement with some sort of like, technology and stuff. Because, when we think of schools, especially like, old people like me, back in the day, that was all pencil and paper and taking notes and looking at a book and listening and stuff. It was that 15 minutes outside to get to play with the computer.
Didn't have no smart boards
and stuff. I mean, with the technology that's growing now, it's so much more present. And I can't wait to find, some really good and enthusiastic like teachers out there, And for college students, it's relatively easy to do that. Just get up there and, we're older. We will understand. But like to actually get like kids engaged into learning while playing and doing something like that, it's going to take, we've got the technology for it. We just need
everything they do now is interactive. Their education should be too.
Yeah, and just not only like video games. I feel like games in general is really good in education. I mean, like some of the listeners, the longtime listeners of the show know that I'm a Sunday school teacher because I mentioned a few times. And when I started Sunday school teaching, at first, like they basically gave me this book with the curriculum. And, they're basically like, okay, go through each lesson, and, there's questions at the end of each lesson. And, it was really boring for the students. And after a while, I was like, you know what? I'll just take I'll read the lessons beforehand and then, like, make a game out of this stuff instead of reading through and quizzing the kids, because they were just so bored. They would like fall asleep in class. They sometimes they'd get restless and start moving around, and like they get really bored of just reading and answering questions. So I started making games. I started implementing games like Apples to Apples. I was like, okay, let's play this game, but like tie it with our religion. Instead of just play it straight up. I also at one point I brought in a bunch of materials and it was like, okay guys, make a game and make it tied with our religion. That's the only rule I'm giving you. You guys make up the other rules. And they had a lot of fun making up their own game. So games.
Yeah.
Games.
When people have fun, they learn.
vacation.
Yes. So you guys ready to move on?
Well, you know what? We can move on.
Let's
Yeah.
move
One
on.
more word now. Just fine.
Okay. So, first news topic I got on here. I'm going to bring up the. Yeah, I'm going to screen share.
Thing.
Yeah, the article. Screen share
You
that.
are now seeing what we're seeing.
Okay, so I'm screen sharing the article. So basically, this first article is on the Yogs Venture game.
Yogs, man.
Yogs?
Yogs.
Yogs?
Yogscast.
Yogscast? I thought it was Yogs.
You're not a Yognot, are you?
No.
I'm a Yognot.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
Okay, so for
Okay,
some background,
the Yogscast.
the Yogscast is a YouTube channel that started out doing Minecraft videos.
Okay, yeah, now I think I know what you're
Yeah.
talking about.
And
I don't know much about these guys, but as from what I know about them, I don't really care too much about these guys because they sound like drama queens. Because of the fact that I pretty much heard that they helped make Minecraft popular, and then they got invited to like Minecon one year, and then they expected to be treated as the stars of the show, but because they weren't, they made a big deal about it, and
there was some drama. There was some unnecessary drama. I prefer some of their older content. And there was a period where I stopped watching because of the drama. But in general, I enjoy the content that the Yogscast creates. But we're talking about their Kickstarter.
Their game that in fact I talked about on the show 2 years ago when it was on Kickstarter, the Yog Venture. And at that time when I talked about it, my opinion was that I didn't like the fact that they were basically getting money from their fans just to make a game for the sake of them being in a game. That's what it seemed like to me. They had no other reason to make a game other than the fact that they wanted a game starring them.
One of the things that made the Yogscast interesting in the first place was what they did with Minecraft was they created a whole story, which people hadn't been doing before. They gave a story and an adventure to Minecraft, and people really liked that. And I think they wanted to take some of that and actually create a game that people could do outside of Minecraft. And I don't know if that's entirely what happened, but
I didn't really get that sense at all from their Kickstarter video. Basically it was like, hey, we want to be in a game. Let's make a game. Oh, this is what I'm going to look like in the game. That's pretty much the impression I got from that Kickstarter video. It was, if that was their intention, they didn't convey it that they wanted to make a game with more of a story element to it. It just seemed like, hey, we want to be in our own game. And I said the same thing about the FPS Russia Kickstarter, because it was around the same time. He wanted basically it was a Kickstarter for an Infinite Runner starring him. Him running and shooting things.
there was a Tobuscus game that got Kickstarter funded and came out. So YouTubers are
it's like
taking over.
they basically want to make games for the sake not for the sake of making a good game or like this is my vision to I want this game to exist. No, it's more like I just want to be in a game, man.
You guys like me, so if you like me, you
Yeah.
can put me in a game.
Yeah.
And that's
You guys
like
me,
the
you
wrong.
can put me in a game.
That's the wrong reasons to make a game.
Yeah. There's not necessarily too fine of a line on this one, but there's actually some really good examples. Like I don't know, I've always been kind of a fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd, James, and a lot of his stuff. And then what was it? Last year they actually came out with the AVGN video game.
Yeah.
But how they did it, they didn't kickstart it or anything. I don't think.
Yeah.
They just had it made.
It was just funded by Screwtech because they own the video game Nerd thing.
A game like
IP.
a game like that was it kind of told a story, in and of itself as a game, the Angry Video Game Nerd, the nerd as he's known in that, is pulled through the TV, and he has to, suffer video games. But how they created the game was that they took all the stuff that he has complained about and poked fun of and cameos. So there's other characters to play. The game is ridiculously hard. I mean, it's up there frustratingly hard. But
I had like 2 levels left. I couldn't beat it.
yeah,
Like I had the snow level, and then the level after you complete all of them.
yeah.
Like I couldn't beat
Yeah.
the snow level.
It was, and that was a really good thing about it too, is that challenge of it. It reminded me of old school games and stuff like that. But
like with them, it was basically an homage to all the videos that Angry Video Game Nerd made.
yeah,
And also like they wanted to make a good game, and it was pretty decent. It was.
Yeah. It was a good game to mock bad games that they tried to make look bad, and they did it really well.
Yeah,
and it was
and
great.
obviously people who are fans of Angry Video Game Nerd are going to enjoy it more than people who like don't know who he is. But it was still a pretty decent game. With the Yogscast though, it just was like, hey, let's make a game with us in it. That's the impression I got from it.
And
But-
so what happened was...
Yeah, what happened was just yesterday we got news that came out that the game is canceled.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. So basically, let me get my notes out.
Who canceled it? Was it them that canceled it, or was
It was
it?
the studio that they had
Yeah,
hired.
the studio Winter Cool spelled
and a W.
KEWL.
They're real cool.
with the
Yeah,
weird
so
spellings?
basically, the backers of the Kickstarter are going to get a Steam key for a game called Tug by Nerd Kingdom, which is in alpha. Here's a quote that was in the release that they put out by Lewis
Prepare for a drama bomb.
Lewis Brindley.
Sounds correct.
Okay.
Lewis.
So Lewis put out here's part of the press release or whatever you want to call it, a little snippet of it. Although we're under no obligation to do anything, instead we're going to do our best to make this right and make you really glad you backed the project. Which is completely untrue because under Kickstarter terms of use, it states that project creators are legally required to fulfill all rewards and promises of their projects and offer refunds in return. They're saying we have no obligation, and they're trying to spin it as if this is from the kindness of their hearts, that they're giving you, the people who backed this game, a Steam key to another game, Tug, that either you didn't care for or didn't want, or you might already have,
Yeah, it's after hearing that, it's just the mentality of that is, especially with like the Kickstarter and stuff, which I'm very iffy up and down with the whole thing. Is what you're doing is you're basically shooting a pitch for an idea.
Yeah.
And not to be it's got a negative connotation to it, but you're basically begging for money for your support. You're supposed to dazzle us enough to say, you know what, this is worth $1, or this is worth $10, or this is worth my full support.
And the thing is, when people back a project on Kickstarter, they're not buying a pre-order. They are investing in that project being fulfilled.
Yeah.
So they raised, I don't know how much money, but
A lot.
yeah, a lot of money. Where's all that money now? And basically, all the people who put hundreds of dollars, in return they're getting a Steam key for a completely different game.
For an alpha.
For an alpha for a completely different game. And so here's some things I got on my notes. Winter Cool. They never made a game prior to this project. This is their first project.
Red flag.
Yeah, that's one thing. A few features that they mentioned during the Kickstarter is that the game would be randomly generated worlds, a fleshed out crafting system, a complex in-game physics engine, full support for modding, adventures featuring characters based on the Yogscast hosts, fully editable, and
I would
Executive
expect more
edible.
edible things from the Yogscast.
destructible terrain. So that is
So they're basically
Japanese.
making Minecraft.
yeah,
right?
Minecraft, but with stories.
Yeah. Did you hear about? There was I saw a Kickstarter where some guy, he was like, "This is completely the newest thing you've ever seen," or something like that. He recreated Minecraft. He
Did
just
he fix
built.
the problems?
No, he just built Minecraft, and he was like, "Here it is. This is a completely unique." It's one of those. It's like, "Hey, look at this. I made this." It's like, "You made this.
Did you follow a
I
guide?
made this."
So Lewis Brindley, he refers to Wintercool Games stopping work on Yogg's venture as, quote, actually a good thing as the project was proving too ambitious and difficult for them to complete with their 6-man team, end quote. They
Scalability.
never mentioned that there was a 6-man team during the Kickstarter campaign. You know,
You guys wanna make a game? We'll make an out of continuous game. You guys wanna give us money? You can play as Staffa, maybe.
maybe.
Maybe. That's a big maybe.
So
Or our three.
I mean,
guess 2 men and a lady team. You know.
you know, they never went into detail as to who Wintercool is. You know, who is on the team. They just said, you know, hey, this
We're gonna make a game.
yeah,
guys.
Wintercool's gonna make it. They said it was veteran game developers. You know, never said veterans of which studio. And you know, they never mentioned 6-man teams. So they tried to refer the project as Wintercool's project during this apology, which is the complete opposite of the Kickstarter pitch, which was basically them pitching as their game. So yeah, that's
It's disappointing. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are upset. It does sound like they're talking with the guys who are making Tug to try and get some of the things into the game that they had promised the people who are backing this Kickstarter. So it could be worse.
like what I want to know is what was the result of all that money? Like,
Yeah,
what did they make? You know,
a whole lot of trouble.
exactly. It's
A lot.
I knew it was bad news since the beginning. It seemed like it was a bad idea, and it just came off across as, hey, we have a lot of fans. Let's take advantage of them and get money from them just to make this dumb game with us in it. That's what it came across to me, yes. And you know, when people have a lot of fans, I mean, like I kind of want to blame it on the fans for being too I don't know. It's hard to blame it on them, but a lot of times you'll have a certain amount of fans that are just really passionate and will just do whatever they
And
say.
a lot of their fans are on the younger side. They're probably younger than me. So, I don't know. I feel like probably some people were backing it who didn't even feel a need to really be informed. They saw Yogscast game. Here's my $10.
I mean, like, if there was like an equivalent for me, it would be like if Giant Bomb, because I really like Giant Bomb and I listen to their podcast each week. If Giant Bomb were to come out and say, hey, we want to make a Giant Bomb game starring us, you know, that would be the equivalent for me, and I would be thinking, you guys are dumb. Get that crap out of my face. Don't ask me for my money. No. You know, it's at a certain point you gotta like not be bamboozled by the people that you like. DreamHost, $8.95 a month.
DreamHost.
Use the promo
The
code
best.
out of
Play our
continues.
game.
I will never be a corporate sellout. DreamHost.
Dream host.
So, yeah, you get what I'm saying? You know, you
Yeah.
just gotta, like, don't. I mean, it's okay to, like, be a fan of someone, but just. You gotta know when to draw the line. You know?
Like, I like my mom, but I'm not gonna give her $10 to make a game with my mom in it. Especially if it's just like 6 random people making this game.
It's a game jam.
Sorry, Mom.
So, that's all I got on that, unless you guys want to add anything else on that topic. I mean, since
No.
you...
I will say that while I enjoy their content, and I wouldn't stop watching it because of this incident, I think there was a lot of bad faith, and they're going to need to work hard to make this right.
Yeah. I just really don't like how they're trying to spin it as if it's a good thing. And they're like, they're pretty much saying they want to make the backers happy that they backed this project, despite the fact that it's canceled.
Yeah.
You know, they're like, oh, we want to make sure that they're happy that they backed this project, so we're giving them Tug. It's better than what our game was going to be anyways, but, you know, they're going to be happy they backed our project. It's like, okay, why not have them back Tug when Tug was having a Kickstarter? If it ever had it did?
I believe they did.
I mean, like, if anything, it should have been like, they could have been like, okay, these guys are you know, really good developers. Back them instead of going, hey, we're gonna make a game starring us.
Guess last comment. Let Hannah handle the press releases.
I don't know who.
You're not a Yognut, so that's okay.
Okay.
But let's talk about Pikachu burgers.
No, let's talk about Thor next.
Fine.
We're going in order. So Thor.
It's the new world order.
You know what? This is usually a game podcast, but I like comics too. I've been reading quite a few comics lately because I have no job and I have nothing
celery.
to do. You like celery?
It's delicious.
That's why he gets the green mic.
So, anyways,
Vegetables. Eat 'em.
Citruses.
Marvel had a few.
Really messing your concentration up, man.
Marvel had a few announcements this week. One being that Thor is now a female.
Awesome.
Yeah, we got a picture here on the screen that I'm sharing.
She looks awesome.
There's 2 pictures. There's this one right here. She has a helmet. I'm not really a big fan of the way how that helmet looks. But apparently she has, like, her helmet's half a mask because it's supposed to conceal her identity because it's going to be a secret as to who she is.
Super
spooky
secrets.
Woo! But basically, this is not like, they're not calling her Lady Thor or Thorina or
She-Thor.
She-Thor or Whore
Thoretta.
or
Just Thor.
just Thor. Thor.
It's a title.
Yeah. So basically, this is a female
She's
who
like the
is
Jarl.
she's worthy of wielding what's the hammer called? Mjolnir?
Mjolnir.
Yeah, that.
Smashy Thunderhammer.
So she is worthy of wielding the power of Thor, and
She is very tastefully done. I really like what they've done with the character and the model and stuff.
basically Thor. I don't know if he has like a different name other than Thor.
He's Thor, but he's also the Thor. I mean, he's
So
the Jarl, but
so
Thor.
so basically Thor did something to like make him
he is not worthy.
yeah, he's
of
no longer
wielding
worthy.
the
He's
hammer.
disgraced Odin. He's no longer worthy of wielding the hammer, and so he doesn't have like the armor anymore. I'm assuming he doesn't have
Just
like
a dude.
yeah. Oh no, he's not just a dude. He's still
Doesn't have a
buff.
hammer.
But he has like this Demon Slayer axe instead, which he used before he became Thor. And yeah, I'm assuming he doesn't have the power to fly anymore because basically how he flew is he would spin his hammer around and throw it, and he's holding on to the hammer. That's how he flies.
Because physics.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he no longer flies, and he no longer has the ability to
physics.
he no longer has the ability to control weather. So so now we have this new Thor, and we don't really know much about her, but this is gonna be the new Thor for a while. They said it's not gonna be like a short-term thing. This is gonna be Thor.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And now make it game related.
Make it game related? Yeah. So they have Disney's Infinity 2.0, which is going to have the Marvel characters in it, and the team was asked how come the new Thor isn't going to be in the game, and it's still the
we
guy.
didn't know soon enough. But don't worry, guys. We're gonna fix that.
That's pretty much the real answer. That it's like, okay, they've been working on this game for a while, so how are they supposed to like know? But like their answer was the Thor that's in Disney 2.0, Disney Infinity 2.0 is based on the Thor from Avengers Assemble, the cartoon series Avengers Assemble. So they said the characters in that game are based off of the most popular versions of that character. So Thor and Iron Man and Captain America are going to be, the Avengers Assemble.
Because she hasn't had time to prove herself yet.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't know anything about her. We don't know if she, or anything about her personality. She could be really mean and ruthless. She could be pretty nice. Who knows? Who knows? So.
She could be your best friend.
What do you think? What do you think about female Thorita?
Stop! Why are you gonna ask me? He immediately turns to me.
What do you think?
I've got something I could say.
What do you think?
Let Cody go first.
Ladies first. Ladies first.
Okay.
Hey. Hey,
a little bit.
There is no pleasing you. You accuse me of being sexist before even being on my show, and I put you on the show.
At least we're not talking about sexism in games while I'm here.
I put you on the show, ask you about female Thor.
No,
you accuse me of being. Man, put your feet down. You're not even on camera. You're not even on camera.
He's showing off his toes.
It's not even on camera. I'm screen sharing this.
I know. That's why I put my feet up. So if it wasn't on camera, no one could see what I'm doing. I was like, yes, I can stretch out.
So what are your thoughts, Samantha?
No, I think it's really cool. Just the idea that they're mixing up quite a few of the Avengers. I know our next news is about Captain America. At least we've got it somewhere on the news. But I think it's interesting to think of the idea of Thor as a title, not a person, and that's a position that could be held by a person of any race or gender or species, as the case is with Green Lantern. So I'm definitely a fan of it, and I think if she proves herself to be pretty popular, I'd love to see her show up in another version of Disney Infinity. So yeah, no, I think it's cool.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a while before we see this version of Thor outside of the comics, mainly because they like to use the established versions of each character,
this is the training ground.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that she's still wielding the hammer. I mean, a hammer is a powerful weapon, and I think that because she's wielding it, that immediately shows that she is a strong contender.
Yeah.
They're not giving her any wimpy, daggers or anything.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
I'm all for it.
Spider-Man, for a few years has not been Peter Parker.
Yeah.
There's been Superior Spider-Man, which was actually Dr. Octopus, who mind controlled, he mind swapped with Peter Parker. So
it's an octopus Spider-Man.
He actually does have at a certain point he does have these mechanical robot arms, but you did not see Superior Spider-Man outside of the comics. You didn't see him in the movies or the cartoons or I don't know, I don't watch the cartoon or in the video games, but saw him in the comics, and in the comics, they like to change things up just to try to keep things fresh. Outside of the comics, they usually just like to stick with what people know best, and repeat the same story over and over.
Recognizable brands.
Yeah.
Like DreamPost.
DreamPost.
I think there's two really good things about this. What you said too was how Thor can be established as a title more than it can be just by a name. Spider-Man, that's a title. Batman, that's a title.
There's one Spider-Man, Miles. I don't know what his last name, but he is a black kid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and his Spider-Man suit is it looks inverted compared to like rather than red with black webs, it's black with red webs.
Oh, that's cool. But they did sort of the same thing, kind of like this with Batman series. I don't know if you guys remember Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Where
Batman Beyond was awesome.
God, it was such a good one, man. Like, boom! Like when it first came out, I was like, "What is this nonsense?" My little 12-year-old self running around. When I watched it, I was like, "Wow."
You know what? Like,
Soul is
I-
complete.
when Batman Beyond came out, I was like, that was pretty much when I think it was around the time or shortly after Metal Gear Solid came out. So I really loved like the stealth camo and cyborg ninja and all that stuff. So when you got like this cyberpunk Batman with stealth camo flying around, I'm like, this is awesome.
Such a good time to be a kid.
Yeah,
Was-
Batman Beyond.
was in
It's
there.
on Netflix right now.
It is.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
What are you
I need
doing?
to be watching that
Your recording
now.
out of continues.
All right, see you guys later. No, but I don't know if it's like confirmed or not confirmed, but I keep hearing a lot of stuff to that. It's just it's presenting like really strong characters because Thor. I'm not too much into like comic book superheroes and stuff. I've got my likes and stuff with the Batman like series, and that usually just becomes through the the psychological and mental like connections that Batman and his supervillains have.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of them play off of like true mental illnesses and stuff like that, and how the characters roll out. So I always thought that was pretty clever and stuff. But with here, Thor has always been one of my favorites. Just because he comes from more of an ancient, real world history kind of place. There's actual real history about
I didn't start liking Thor until the movie.
Really.
Yeah, like until the first movie. That's when I started first liking Thor. Because before that, like I'm like, who is this goofy looking dude with wings on his head?
Yeah. Well, I got into Thor actually. Here's a little history lesson about me. I got into Thor from Mortal Kombat actually. No. One of my favorite characters to play was Raiden.
Raiden.
I got Metal Gear.
Metal
Okay,
Gear.
no. Raiden on the. It was Raiden. He was the. His main attacks dealt with electricity and stuff. And then my dad was all. That was his favorite character too when we played together. But he was like, he brought up the thing. He was like, oh wow, he's like Thor as well. And then that's how and it goes to the whole educational things. I would have never known about the history and the stuff about Thor. I even did like one of those quick papers on the history of Thor.
Are you familiar with Screw Attack's Death Battle series?
I think so.
Like they would take two characters.
Oh yeah.
And like pretty much compare their stats, and then they show like a short animation that they make of them two fighting, and then like.
Is it the live action one or is it like?
No, it's not live action.
Oh. Okay.
And then one of them obviously kills one because it's death battle, and then they explain why that character would would win in a death battle, and they did one with Thor and Raiden.
Oh, really? That's
Yes.
cool. I need to check that out. Yeah, because I think I saw the one that series, the one you're talking about with I think it was Link and Cloud.
Yes, they had that.
Yeah. Link won that one, and then so that's pretty cool. I saw because there was another one that I saw. It was it's kind of like Death Battles, but it was live action.
Yeah, I
and-
saw one with I think that the live action one. Would they have a Wolverine versus Batman?
I think that was no, it was Wolverine and somebody else.
Well, I
don't
did
think it was
watch.
Batman.
I did watch a video that was Wolverine versus Batman.
Oh yeah, but they did another Wolverine one where it was kind of like down in the swamps. I can't remember who he was fighting, but my favorite one, and it had some of the really great martial arts choreography because they actually got it was the White Ranger versus Scorpion.
That's
and
racist.
they actually got the actor, I can't remember his name, but he played Tommy, who was the White Ranger and he's an actual
Oh yeah.
he's a real martial artist. He
Talking
actually owns one of his
original Power
You know,
Rangers.
he quit MMA because he killed somebody in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, he accidentally killed somebody, so he quit MMA.
Yeah. He still trains and runs and stuff like that. And then they actually got him to come back into the suit and actually fight another martial artist. I can't remember who did Scorpions. I looked into it because I was blown away about how really good it was. Because they had fist on, but the White Ranger or Tommy, he had the sword. I can never remember the sword's name, but and of course
Saba.
Yeah. No. What is it?
Saba.
Is it Saba? Are you pulling my trigger?
No. All right, let's move on.
But yeah, it was really cool.
Let's move on. Okay, so related to this, Marvel also announced.
Has announced Captain African America.
You stole my joke. I should not have wrote.
I read the note.
I should not have put that in the notes. That was my joke. Captain African America, patent pending. Okay, so basically, character the Falcon, who is for those who are unfamiliar with this guy, he was in the most recent Captain America 2 Winter Soldier movie. I did not watch that though.
It's good. You should see it. And I'm not even real big on superheroes.
I wanted to see it, but that was during Capstones, and
Oh
You need to de-stress.
yeah, I had to.
You got
finish.
months out now. Go do it.
Is it
Like,
on?
you sleep.
Is it on Blu-ray yet?
Couldn't tell you actually.
Whenever it's on Blu-ray, I'll watch it.
It's gonna be soon if it
I'll
hasn't already.
Redbox it. But yeah, he was in that movie. If you didn't watch that movie, he is usually wearing this white and red suit with wings.
It's way better than a jetpack.
It looks pretty goofy.
Yeah, the Falcon's always kind of
Look.
goofy throughout the years and stuff.
Yeah, he's always looked really goofy and off.
In that picture right there, he looks awesome as Captain America because he's got the red sunglasses, so it kind of gives me that old school Blade look, So it's real dangerous but I mean, and of course he's got the Captain America uniform on,
Yeah.
so it's it's got a really nice mix of two worlds. It kind of mixing it because I mean, really, take just a Slender Man face real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Just a blank face, and then put the Captain America suit on it. That's Captain America. It was always your average, tip top white guy with
Slender
Captain American on there, and then here it even gives it a little bit more personality. And if I used to watch the old cartoons where Falcon was in them.
Yeah.
The old
Old.
the old Avengers and stuff, and he was always kind of he was a character in a way.
I feel like Falcon for the longest time was always just the token black guy.
Yeah,
He
and-
was there just to add diversity, and he had absolutely nothing to give as far as personality. He
Yeah.
had nothing to add.
It's
to the
just
team.
yeah, he was I don't know, it was just kind of we should make as many superheroes as possible, and it was the best of they had the Falcon, and then they had Powdered Milkman, and then they had Lazy Sunday Man or something like that. And you're let's go with Falcon.
I feel like black characters in comics, black superheroes, have been lacking for a really long time until Dwayne McDuffie stepped in and brought in characters like Static Shock,
Yeah.
who was awesome. And I believe Dwayne McDuffie also did Cyborg, which was also a really good character as well.
Oh, yeah.
Because he wasn't just like, hey, I'm a black guy who likes sports. I mean, he was also a really smart person as well. Static Shock, I feel like Static Shock, well, he's Static, but like the comic series and the shows was called Static Shock. Static was, to me, I felt like he was a more realistic Peter Parker. Because Peter Parker, okay, he's a nerd, okay, but he was also a super nerd. He was extremely smart, like out of reach smart, but he also, on top of that, he was juggling like 80 girls. Like, he had Gwen Stacy and Mary Jane and Felicia Hardy, and like he had all these girls he was juggling all at the same time, which made him like
really buff, because that takes like a lot of strength
I mean,
and
like,
coordination.
well, what I was going with was that he is like less relatable because
Yeah.
like he is. You know, they tried to make him relatable by making him like a high school student and a college student or whatever, but it's like, okay, what comic nerd who's reading this comic has like several hot girlfriends that they're trying to juggle?
Or at least
and-
like an ounce of social skills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know,
So like Static, Virgil Hawkins, the character,
Yeah.
he was smart, but he wasn't like, Peter Parker, super genius smart. And he had like real problems, like with with home and his family and school. So I feel like Static was a much better character than Peter Parker, and I liked the cartoon. It was cool.
If I remember right, it had a pretty good theme song. So.
Yeah. And they had Shaq on the show too. Come on, how can you hate that? But
Jack Fu.
So
I rest
like,
my case.
it was like Static Shack for one episode.
exactly. So, but like Falcon over here, who's becoming the new Captain America. Lately they've been making him a better character than what he was before. He's no longer just the token black guy. They're making him more of an important character, and from what I understand, like more to his personality rather than just being there, which is definitely cool.
And also, I think it's the artist who did that. I can't remember his name, but he, I think it was Stephen Colbert on his show.
Mm-hmm.
He asked the question, so now who's going to be the new Falcon? And they drew up Stephen Colbert as the new Falcon.
Yeah.
It looks awesome, and I'm kind of hoping they do it because his character is like. Because they did it out in like the 90s,
Mhm.
they a full color print, and he was doing like this action flying move thing, and I was like, wow, that's funny and awesome at the same time. Like, I hope they really do that. Like, just like throw him in there for like one comic book or something like that. That'd be awesome. But
And Marvel doing these changes with their characters. This isn't anything new either, because they also changed Miss Marvel recently as well. Because Carol Danvers, who was Miss Marvel, has been Captain Marvel for like the past year or so. Because Captain Marvel has been different characters. Now it's Carol Danvers. And so the mantle of Miss Marvel has been empty, and this year they
They're having a pageant.
no, they didn't have a pageant. They had a new comic series called Miss Marvel, and the new Miss Marvel is like a 16-year-old Pakistani girl. So, and I've been reading that comic. I think it's a fun comic. I like it. So,
cool.
yeah. So, video games. Video games.
Video.
The
games.
next
Video
article we
games.
got is
VIO Deo games.
next article. Oh, it's almost 5. Do you need to like?
I can be late.
You can be late.
I can
Okay.
be late.
It's almost 5.
Yeah.
Oh, even.
We're at it.
So, anyways, this is sad news. Microsoft laying off 18,000 employees That's
Wow.
like I believe it was like 14% of their workforce, their entire workforce. That is like a lot
Although it's
of people.
mostly because they recently made an acquisition and are getting rid of most of the people that came with that acquisition.
Yeah, well, that was earlier this year though. They like most of those people, 12,500 of the planned layoffs are from the acquisition of Nokia, and they're giving them 6 months on like basically confirming their layoff, which is a long time to like 6 months
It's gonna
being
stretch
worried.
into Christmas season.
Yes.
And that whole holiday time.
Yeah, 6 months of them
Not
sitting
fun.
there wondering if their jobs are still going to be there. That's going to suck.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of time to at least
Start
try to
looking
looking around for new
Or
jobs and
ramp up
opportunities.
your production.
So basically, like, this is Xbox Entertainment Studios, which is mainly the TV stuff. That they're doing with the Xbox One. And basically, they're saying that the stuff like the Halo projects, they're still gonna go forth. The Steven Spielberg Halo thing, and they're basically transferring that over to 343 Studios.
They're still doing the ET
the ET documentary is still happening. A few other things are still happening, but I think the biggest part of the news is like, forget all those things. Like, you got
A lot of people.
a lot of people losing their jobs, and that's just bad news bears. I mean, you got people who are trying to get into the industry like me, trying to find jobs,
Yeah.
and then you have like 18,000 people who just
It's like they just did a really big Xbox off,
yeah.
and that's not cool. But on the flip side of that, and I know you don't have it in your notes, so I'm going to throw this at you, but
No.
now I got to do this, man, because it's from kind of my hometown. I spent a lot of time in the Midwest of Illinois, and I went to community college at Parkland,
Mhm.
which is really close to Volition Studios. And they were acquired by Deep Silver after THQ broke up. But they just announced that they are doubling their space and hiring 100 extra workers. So, if you guys don't know, Volition is the studio that does Saints Row, along with a couple other franchises.
I didn't see any. I saw that
I heard-
article,
Yeah,
but I didn't see it when I went to the website and.
they've added a few more on
Oh,
there.
I didn't see like any new job openings. Where's the
I know some people
where's
who
the
work
100?
there. So,
where's the 100?
yeah.
Come on
It's going to be they have to build the space first, and they have some really nice space there. I got to take a look at the studio, and
God, build it, man. That's no good.
Champaign's a nice area,
I need a
too.
job
it's
now.
It's like a smaller than Indianapolis college town. They got the U of I right
I need
there.
a job now. I can't wait for them to build space.
Well, you gotta get to know some people,
Hire.
like I do.
Hire me. Need to work. So yeah, that's all I got on this.
Some places firing, some places hiring.
Hire me. My name's Staffa.
Hire me.
I'm
My
looking
name
for
is
work.
Samantha.
You're not on camera, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Hire me.
I'm awesome. You're not on camera either.
We just.
You guys are
No,
like,
they don't
a
have to see me
personality
to understand
disorder,
and hear my
you're,
power.
You're mocking our personality.
yeah, but you guys are like talking towards the camera. You're like, hire me, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm screen sharing. You know what they see right now? It says Xbox Entertainment Studios and GiantBomb.com.
Okay.
That's what they see on the screen right now.
Fine, I'm taking my pants off.
It was already off, buddy. Come on now. So we're moving on. Going to talk about this is kind of like on the news when they show a war, and then the next segment is they talk about some cute
Cats
puppies and
that were rescued
yeah,
and like
cats
saved a little boy from a forest fire.
yeah, this
been
is
reunited.
my equivalent. I just talked about 18,000 people losing their jobs, and here's a
Wow.
burger that looks like Pikachu.
Pikachu shaped burger.
Yeah, it's
And other foods.
yeah, they got this Japanese restaurant has these burgers. That's the most adorable burger ever. Come on now. What
You're like, I could just eat you up.
exactly? And then you got this rice ball thing that also looks like Pikachu. And then this, I don't know what the heck that is.
It's
It's
a mango shake.
a mango shake, but like what's making the Pikachu face on top? Is that like?
It's mango.
Okay,
and
it's a
like
mango?
some cherries for the cheeks. I think.
Oh, okay. I thought that was like
It's
a.
like hot tubbing, but like in a shake.
I thought that was supposed to be like basically like a piece of plastic that they just.
Don't pretend that doesn't sound like a nice thing to do.
Okay, so anyways, Pikachu food. I just want to show this on the podcast because
Add it to your Pinterest.
look at this Pikachu! Come on
I
now.
wouldn't be able to eat it. It's adorable.
Come on now.
Oh, Pikachu.
Ramadan. I'm hungry. Alright,
That's so sad sounding.
we're back on camera. Woo!
What'd it do?
So anyways, before we wrap things up, we got listener feedback. And if you want to write in to the podcast just like Tim here,
Way to go, Tim.
yeah, you write to podcast@outofcontinues.com.
Podcast at outofcontinues.com.
Boom! So Tim writes in. He says, to explain this a bit, he's talking about a couple weeks ago. We talked about
Morality.
Killer's Dead.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about Killer's Dead, and basically he's replying to a mini game that was described to us by another listener who wrote in. Because she was playing the game and described that there's these mini games in which you try to woo women by staring at them.
It's like our viewers are like writing to each other as pen pals. Like,
Yes.
you want
Yeah.
to send us your shout outs.
It's awesome. So we're building a community here.
Making
we love
connections.
games. We got common interest games. All of us friendly people make friends.
And non-friendly people.
So we're all friendly. All of us are friendly.
Friendly fire.
Arr! So anyways, Tim writes in, to explain this a bit, the main character styles himself a ladies' man, so in the minigame he has to try to woo a woman. But first, he has to work up the nerve to give them a gift, since Japan.
Because Japan.
Because reasons.
He does this by stealing glances at the women, and if they catch him staring, they get mad at him, and he has to spend time giving them direct eye contact until they stop being annoyed.
How does that work? I mean, it's like, I'm mad because you were looking at me, and you're going to make it better by looking at me some more.
No, it's to like, when you have eye
Having a
contact.
deep connection.
Yes.
I'm not mad at you anymore.
What? So, anyways,
You just looked right into my soul, and I was terrified.
with my cross eyes. The minigame is a parody of the host/hostess subculture that exists in Japan, and that's kind of not fun as compared to the rest of the game, and knowing Suda51, it's awkward and unfun on purpose. Suda51 loves his metatextual commentary through gameplay, so it could just be awkward and sexist, or it can be awkward and sexist to try to drive a home a point. And yes, I'm a week behind. It's been busy. That's fine. I don't care that you're a week behind. It's cool. I'm glad that you listen to the podcast, man.
You could start from podcast number 1 and send in viewer feedback for every single video if you
No.
want.
If people start from podcast
Don't
number
do that.
1, I'll
You're
be
gonna
like,
need like an extra hour.
I'll be like, okay, you're talking to Staffa from 3 years ago.
which is terrifying.
So, well, thanks for explaining that to us, Tim. I don't know. Like, I feel like the excuse of, hey, this is supposed to be social commentary on Suda51's part. That's why it's not a fun minigame, or that's why it's not fun gameplay mechanics. I feel like that's used for every single one of Suda51's games. And
It's just their thing.
at a certain point, Suda51 needs to stop making games with bad gameplay just to make a point, and just start make something fun for once.
Make a point with good mechanics.
I guess I heard good things about Lollipop Chainsaw being the most fun game that Suda51 has ever made, but come on now, you gotta
Chainsaws.
Yeah. To tell you the truth, it's not as untastefully done as most people would think. You see just the box art and you see cheerleaders scantily clad and stuff like that, but in and of itself, there's a lot of he almost pushes it a little too much. He tries to be a teeny bit too artsy for his own good, and in certain situations, there's a lot of it in Killer 7. There's the No More Heroes. I haven't played Killer is Dead yet, but
Killer 7, I thought it was a cool concept, but the game was just so slow, and it wasn't fun. And, I don't know a single person who has played the game and has beaten it. You beat it?
Yep.
Okay, you're number one. But I do know several other people who have played the game. I played it myself, and practically everyone else other than you who I've talked to who has played the game was like, "Nah, I never beat it."
yeah, it's excuse me.
It's putting you to sleep.
No,
That's how slow it is.
Well, it definitely picks up. It's a very neat look into gameplay mechanics. And I used it mostly as kind of a teaching tool, and there's some concepts that are built in there, and a lot of it I just kind of interpret myself without trying to find the real true meaning in there. No More Heroes is a little bit not as subtle with the stuff, and like I said, I can't speak on Killer is Dead, but Lollipop Chainsaw, that one I don't know. I watched gameplay footage of it, and it's not like the first Bayonetta trying to squeeze as much blatant, forced sexuality and just scantily clad kind of stuff. She's just wearing a cheerleader's uniform.
Yeah.
And usually it almost seems like you're watching old Spice Girls. Music videos. You cringed when you heard that. It's kind of how it is, and it's sort of that. And her personality is almost. It's just that bubblegummy. Very floaty, dim-witted kind of stereotypical look. The same thing with the man. It's almost like saying, "Hey, what could we do with these two types of characters that have been personified in movies and stuff for years and years and years? Just push the stereotype to the nines, and then add in chainsaws and zombies."
I mean, I just feel like the excuse of Suda51 trying to do a social commentary on his games, therefore his gameplay is bad. And that excuse has been used for every one of his games practically. And at a certain point, when people keep criticizing you for something, you gotta evolve. You got to change things up. It's yeah, sure, if you want to do a social commentary on something, that's fine. But when you do that for every single one of your games, and everyone keeps saying, "Look, the gameplay's bad. We get it." You gotta move on. I mean, it's David Cage. I like Heavy Rain and what was Indigo Prophecy and Beyond Two Souls. But at a certain point, you gotta kind of evolve with the gameplay, and you gotta evolve with using paranormal as a crutch for your storytelling. You know, you gotta admit he
Oh,
does.
yeah.
He does use
Even like Heavy Rain originally had a really strong paranormal background.
Yeah.
And they pulled it back.
Yeah, that's thankful he did, but like he uses that as a crutch for his storytelling. It's like, come on now, you gotta do more than just be like, this is the unexplained. Woo. Come on now, David Cage, do more for me. Do more.
Because Mayans.
Yes, because Mayans. Come on now. It's like DBZ Mayans. Kamehameha. What is this? What is this? Come on now. You got, at a certain point, take the criticism and move on. You know, evolve. Get better. Do things differently. Don't do the same things over and over. Well, I know that was a rant that was completely different than the what the listener feedback was about, but oh well.
We're here anyway.
We're here anyway. So let's wrap things up. I want to give a shout out to Nathan Becker.
Way to go, Nathan.
Way to go.
Nathan Becker, also known as Ectogemia, ECTOGEMIA, Facebook.com/Ectogemia, SoundCloud.com/Ectogemia. He did the intro song for Ada Continues. I will also, in the outro, I'm going to insert a song from the Beware the Bully soundtrack, which he also did. So you'll find a link to his Facebook in the show notes. Do you guys have anything else you want to plug? Any shout-outs?
Keep an eye out for some Return of a Theory announcements in the next couple months.
Shout out to my cat, Meryl.
Yeah, my cat's too. Not named Meryl.
I want to give a shout to Tim for writing in.
Way to go, Tim.
Way to go.
You're the man.
MVP.
Thanks, Tim. I want to give a shout-out to Michelle, my mentor, because of making some connections and things might happen soon.
Way to go.
Thanks, Michelle.
Things
Yeah.
happening.
We've got a project going on right now.
Project.
And maybe something will come out of it.
Come out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What up, homie?
You just went too far. You blew it.
All right.
You blew it.
So,
You blew it.
if you enjoy what you've been hearing,
Or
watching, support us by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, the Twitters.
Yeah.
Leave an iTunes review. I completely forgot that part of the show. Announcements, man.
I
We need-
you.
Yeah, we need iTunes reviews, bro.
iTunes.
iTunes reviews.
Yes. If you use iTunes, please leave a review. It's one of the single most helpful things you could do to help the show.
Leave a review
if-
saying that I'm cool and they should bring me back.
Here is an example of a review. Dear Out of Continues.
That's a letter. ...
No, you
Anyway,
don't do that with all your comments. I always
No.
do that. Dear Loudmouth
So-
YouTube.
Hey, I'm trying to wrap this up.
Okay.
So if you cannot leave an iTunes review, for example, if you do not use iTunes, you do not have an iPhone, you don't use iTunes, you
Send us to your mother in an email.
no.
Chain letter that.
No. The next best thing you could do is sharing on Facebook and Twitter. That is,
Or Reddit.
or Reddit. That can work too. Just share the podcast, and that would really help out
Instagram.
grow the community.
LinkedIn.
So, other than that, you can also contact...
Snapchat.
Yeah, Snapchat, sure.
Social
I don't know.
media.
Tinder.
You can also contact by email, which is podcast@outofcontinues.com. All these can be found on the website, www.outofcontinues.com. You can also give me a tweet personally. I am at Sayedstafa, that's SAYEDSTAFA.
Don't do it.
Sure,
Okay, you
go
can
ahead.
do it.
Go ahead, do it.
Right now.
Also,
I dare you to do it.
the YouTube channel, as I mentioned in the beginning of the show, is youtube.com/OutaContinues. We post the podcast up early on the YouTube channel. Goes up a few hours after recording, so it's pretty fresh. But if you prefer to listen to the MP3, which I personally prefer the MP3 because I like to.
Listen to
you know.
it on your way to work.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the MP3 goes
in the
up
car like a boss.
on Mondays.
You should watch it in
So
the
I'll-
car while you're driving as well.
No, that's not safe.
Oh.
So, anyways,
In the
I'd like
car
to.
while
While
someone else is
operating
driving.
heavy machinery. How about that one? Does that one work? How about while you're cooking? Watch it.
So, I'd like to thank my guest host for joining me today, Cody,
Welcome.
Hi.
Samantha,
Yeah.
Super Heart Man,
It's like Cupid, dude.
Cupid Man. And with that
I don't like
said,
him.
I'm
I
your
don't,
host.
I don't like how close we are right here. It's
Getting too friendly.
feeling a little awkward.
I'm your host, Stafa. Peace out, everybody.
Peace out.